Here's how National Review summarized it. They said it was only 3 years ago that New York's Democratic legislature drew up a map so brazenly contemptuous of basic rules that govern a district's contiguousness that the state's Democrat-dominated Court of Appeals threw it out. The New York Times at the time called those maps comically contorted. That's their quote. So your state's highest court at the time, all the judges appointed by Democratic governors, they threw the maps out. So fair to say Democrats have done what they're now accusing Republicans of doing.
No, we followed the rules. We do it every 10 years. We base it on census.
But the court said you didn't follow the rules.
Well, we did follow the rules.
So the court was wrong?
Well, we followed the rules.
Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now, and you are seeing various Democrats getting embarrassed all over cable news and everywhere else because anytime a journalist asks a question that is any different than "aren't these Republicans in Texas bad?" the Democrats do not have an answer for it. They just continuously embarrass themselves. And it is an absolute thing of beauty. Let's go ahead and look at the governor of Illinois. Listen to him try to defend the position he is taking here that Republicans should not gerrymander Texas because that's an affront to the Constitution, even though in Illinois it's far worse.
Every major group that grades the fairness of congressional maps gives your state an F. Common Cause, a nonpartisan government watchdog, even says your map, and I'm going to quote, represents a nearly perfect model for everything that can go wrong with redistricting. And I guess the question is, you talk about preserving democracy. How do you preserve democracy if you're using the same tactics that you've criticized Texas Republicans for?
But as I say, what they're talking about is a distraction. The reality is that the violation of people's voting rights is what Texas is attempting to do. That's what's wrong with their efforts right now. And the fact that the president of the United States knows it and nevertheless is asking them to do it. That is what's wrong with what we're seeing right now. Democracy is at stake.
Now that makes two clips I've showed you, and there aren't that many of them because most journalists don't accidentally ask hard questions to Democrats. Instead, they try to help them along. It's nice to see them fall on their face every now and then. But there is good news about all of this. Well, this stuff continues. We get closer and closer to a situation where Republicans have had enough and are getting ready to blow up the whole game. And it's great. You're hearing about Texas and Florida and Missouri and Indiana, but what about Alabama? What about Alabama? I asked State Senator Arthur Orr about drawing Terry Sewell, who was thought to be in one of the safest districts in the country, out of her seat through political gerrymandering. Seems like an insane thing to say, but State Senator Arthur Orr during our conversation said, yeah, we could probably actually do that if this stuff continues. Can you envision a scenario if all the rulings go the, quote, right way, end quote, where you could draw Terry Sewell out of her district?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I do too. Here's what I would do.
Will reign. Yeah, politics will reign, and you know, you've seen these districts, Dale. They're talking about Illinois and other Democratic blue states, and you've seen these districts that make no sense, you know, stringing together along interstate right-of-ways, which supposedly is illegal. I remember a North Carolina case of years ago where they went from basically Raleigh down to Charlotte, and you know, and made just a long district down interstate rights-of-ways and stuff. Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. But you look at these districts in Illinois and places, you got the same thing happening, and to the detriment of the Republicans.
The roadmap has already been placed. It's very simple. All you have to do is look at what they did in Nashville, Tennessee. They had one congressman representing Nashville. Obviously, it was going to be a Democratic stronghold. So what did Tennessee Republicans do? They drew a map that cut Nashville into fours, and now it has 4 Republican members of Congress. You can do this. You should do this. If this is the way the game is going to be played, if Illinois, New York, and Maryland, and Massachusetts are all going to be gerrymandered to hell, you are literally derelict in your duties if you don't do the same thing. Take the big swing. If you lose, who cares? It's status quo. So hopefully Alabama will enter the fray. I understand there are some legal challenges with that, but all you can do is lose. Take that big swing, Alabama. Take that seat and take Shamari Figure's seat as well. That's the seat that a 3-judge panel drew specifically to get a black Democrat. So racial gerrymandering is okay in that situation. Maybe Alabama becomes a 7-0 state. Democrats are in a bad spot right now, and I think they know it because it ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun.